combat units alive during a fight. There you go.
All right, guys. So AMD fighting on 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
AMD fighting. All right.
That side of the crowd was better. You guys, I'm highly disappointed. So.
Next time, I believe in you.
That's right, pride. That side of the crowd, pride. All right, over here in the left position, we have our red Protoss player hailing from the Team TT Esports. That is WhiteRa. And his opponent on the right-hand side of the map, up 2-1 in this best of 9 for $5,000. It is Millennium Stephano. So we've seen some PVZs, quite a few on this map actually. I remember back at Team Arena Challenge, we saw StarTail Ace do a very effective job of denying players thirds on this one. Now WhiteRa hasn't really shown an intention through this set to pylon block, delay the expansions out of Stephano, things like that, instead focusing on his pressure with his gateways, but it's proven to be pretty effective here as that third is very accessible by multiple attack paths.
Yeah, I mean, what we've seen is Protoss players block that natural expansion for Zerg with a pylon, make them try to expand at the third base location first, and then take advantage of that with sort of a, usually it's a 2-base blink timing has been really popular. Really any sort of 2-base strong gateway timing has been really, really good against Zergs who have done that in this situation. So we'll have to see if WhiteRa does it again. He's actually going for the gateway again first here, but this time he's got it rallied over to the side of his ramp. So I don't think we're going to see that really intense Zealot aggression that we've seen the other games. He might still do it, but just the initial rally kind of suggests that he's going to go for just kind of a wall off, get things started a little bit earlier. He's spent a lot of minerals on those early Zealots, and those could be spent easily on more probes if he was chrono boosting his Nexuses instead. He could get a second Nexus faster, so we'll have to see.
And Stephano's been checking for any sort of proxies, things along those lines. WhiteRa going to back up now. We'll see if he can actually make his way in and deny the expansion this time. No. Stephano gets it down. So once again, for 4 games in a row, he has not had that expansion denied, delayed, moved over to the third, anything like that.
Yep. Maybe the probe is just a little bit jet lagged. He's like, oh, I just can't get there in time. He does take some minerals though.
Yes.
But we caught him.
Is he stealing some minerals? Oh,
that's right.
So BM.
Oh. And then electrocuting the other workers. You know, that's how probes are. You know, I've gone on this rant before, and I'm going to do it again. Probes are the jerk workers, all right? Like, their only purpose is to, well, also mine minerals, but to just harass other people's workers. You know, SEV building a building? No. Probe's going to kill it. Drones mining minerals? Nope. Probe's going to harass them until they have to become buildings, and then their lives are basically over because they're kind of in place for the rest of them. So yeah, probes are jerks. That's the end of story there.
It's not even workers. It's denying expansions. It's
denying
proxying tech. It's probes are just basically BM overall. So
they get away from Zerglings too. Look at that.
Yes.
Probably not even going to kill that jerk probe.
No, he's going to make it away. He will fight to be a jerk again another day. Space Shark is overseeing the Zealot in the middle of the map, checking in on his progress on his TPS reports.
Space Shark is surprised as I am to see more Zealots again from WhiteRa.
Yes.
So he's going to try to maybe get in there, hit the third potentially, but it does get scouted again fairly early from Stephano. I just expect WhiteRa to do something to kind of surprise Stephano at this point, you know, to follow this up with something he's not expecting.
Well, I'm surprised he's doing it again.
Yeah, we just have not seen it yet.
Well, let's see here now. Stephano's actually making less and less lings to defend each time. He's only got 6 on the field right now. It was initially 20-something, then it became 12 last game, and now it's down to about 6. There are still 3 Zealots up for WhiteRa. He is actually finishing up a 4th, so getting a couple more done before he decides to put on more pressure. Actually has close to a full wall back at home. Of course, you can't plug that with just 1 gateway unit.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like WhiteRa may not even be planning on attacking here. He's just kind of sitting at the Zelnagh Tower for a long time.
Oh no!
What? Oh no! The Zealots do get in. Oh man, whoops. Zealot not on hold position for WhiteRa. No, pretty critical mistake because the Zerglings will see pretty much everything. You know what though? Stephano already had a Zergling in his base. Look at that. He's on the right side. He's hiding underneath the tree.
Yep. Hey, there's Zergling.
There he is.
All right. Well, Stephano gets a few more in now. He could take out a couple of probes, or at the very least deny a little bit more economy.
Yep.
And WhiteRa just keeping with those Zealots here in the middle of the map underneath the Zelnaga Tower. They're not intending to move out and attack, as you kind of suggested before. Stephano is building up quite a few resources right now, and we'll see what it all gets expended on here in a second. Looks like unsupply blocking himself with 3 more Overlords.
Yeah, that's a good thing to spend your resources on. Don't want to be supply blocked for too long, but
that's true.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Stephano move into a fairly normal mid-game here, kind of the similar thing that we've seen before. Going to Roaches as well, and eventually try to tech up the Spire and get Brood Lords. We could potentially see Mutalisks on this map. I've seen it before from Zerg, but he just doesn't have those second gases, or the third and fourth gas early, so probably just going to be another Roach mid-game.
Well, let's see here. Double Evolution Chamber is almost finished up, and we'll see if he adds on any more gases anytime soon. There's Layer Tech now. Finally, the Zealots are making their way out, but I hate to tell them there's even more Zerglings than there were before. Like
turning around again.
Turn around. Yep.
Stephano, though, not really needing to make any more Zerglings. He's got enough to deal with it already, so just kind of focusing more on drones and upgrades. He's actually going for 2 Evo Chambers this time. A little bit different.
And WhiteRa's actually going to be on 5 gate now with a Robo Bay as well. So we finally see some early Colossus play out of him.
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, if he hits at the right timing on 2 bases with this, he could potentially kill at least 1 base of Stephano's, and that would set him back quite a bit.
And it is WhiteRa as well, so it could very well be Warp Prism speed. But
that's true. He does like. No, you're right. He could be going for the Warp Prism speed. It's actually legit because he does like that. He is actually one of the better players outside of Korea to use that Warp Prism micro against Zerg.
Yeah. And Stephano having to expend a lot of resources at different junctures here to unsupply block himself, and it has made his resources creep up a little bit, but of course he'll be able to spam out a bunch of Roaches in a second. There's actually 5 on the way right now, but once again, very nearly supply blocked and is forced to put up 5 Overlords at once. Yeah,
you know what though? Look at what WhiteRa is doing. He's getting Thermal Lance right away.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling this is going to be that push where you go after 2 Colossi. It certainly could be. It would be very strong. And he's done something very smart and subtle at the same time. He hasn't really attacked with those Zealots. He's kept all of them alive pretty much, so that's going to be a nice little boost to his army when he does go for that. And look at this, Stephano actually going for Overlord drops right now, and Burrow. So something interesting being planned here by him. Maybe a Roach drop in the main.
Yeah, 1-1 upgrade's going to finish momentarily. Also has that Roach speed coming up, and he's producing quite a few Roaches behind this. He's already got 5 out, 5 more on the way, and 7 larvae still remaining as well. So he's sitting on a pretty good economy, 68 workers already, and his supply could skyrocket here in a second.
Yeah, now Stephano, okay, he's going for those upgrades. WhiteRa, though, he actually put down a Forge, too, so he's going to add maybe a +1 attack onto this as well. The nice benefit with that is that Zealots will actually kill Zerglings in 2 hits instead of 3 if they do have that +1 attack, but Stephano already has +1 carapace for his Zerglings, so that's not going to quite work out as well. And that gateway has done enough warping in for WhiteRa. He's just going to kill it, I guess.
Turns on it. I guess it is more important to have those Stalkers and Immortals out of there.
Get through, Yes. Yep. Need a little bit more room.
That traitorous gateway
was intentional. We don't have like an MMA situation here. He's not killing his own buildings randomly.
That's true. That's true. Nor do we have Idra, so Stephano's not going to GG as a result.
Moving out with those 2 Colossi.
Yes.
This will be a very strong push. Will Stephano have enough to defend this? He's got a decent amount of Roaches. They are 1-1 right now. Overlord drops is just about to complete, but I don't know if he's going to be able to really use this in the defense of this push.
Stephano's macro has been pretty stellar. He's already sitting at 155 supply with a pretty incredible amount of upgrades. He'll be on +2 attacks here momentarily, and looks like WhiteRa should be able to protect this pylon here. Once he gets a couple of units, we'll be able to start some warping cycles in a forward position. But Stephano, he has 71 workers, already 31 Roaches out. He's starting to sack some of those workers to put up a bunch of Spine Crawlers as well. And here comes the attack at the 3rd.
Oh, he was going for a counterattack too, and he turned around. I think Stephano's actually going to lose his 3rd base if WhiteRa decides to take it out.
Yeah, and I suppose he will, because he can sit on the high ground and then work at those Roaches.
Yes, he will, and he does kill the 3rd base very quickly. Stephano, though, gathering with a huge Roach drop in the middle of the map.
Yes, he is.
We could have a bit of a base trade situation on our hands here.
Well, let's see what WhiteRa has to defend. One of those warp gates, unfortunately, not actually warp gates, just sitting on gateway for now. He'll need that to continue reinforcing back at home. The Colossus still a little ways away. Stephano trying to draw the attention from WhiteRa by attacking right up at the front, but here comes the drop.
The drop going right into the main base, and WhiteRa has nothing there to defend, but Stephano doesn't really have a lot to defend at home, although he does have a good amount of Spine Crawlers.
Yes, he does, but the Spine Crawlers can actually range from the low ground here. We'll need to see Guardian Shield in just a second, but we'll see if he can take on that force. Stephano kind of going unchecked, though. Not really a lot WhiteRa can do back at home.
I don't think WhiteRa was expecting the drop at all. Look at this. He's focusing down both Nexuses. He's going to get it. Meantime, the fight at Stephano's base. WhiteRa cutting off a couple of the units. But with those Spine Crawlers there, it's going to be very difficult and slow to advance onto this position.
How is Stephano still almost maxed after taking these losses? His macro is ridiculous.
Yeah, no kidding.
Colossi are going to siege up a few of the Spine Crawlers, but now units are right on top. One Colossus is going to go down. A second going to fall as well. The Immortal going to go down after that. And now it's just a bunch of Stalkers and really no way for WhiteRa to reproduce this army down to 46 supply.
Yeah, WhiteRa does not have Blink as well. He's going to try to push into the main, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think Stephano barely has enough to take out this army.
GG! Stephano goes up 3-1.
Yeah, no kidding, man. Taking a bit of a risk going for the base trade, but really it was those Spine Crawlers at the natural expansion that really saved Stephano in that game.
Yes,
if he hadn't had those, WhiteRa would have been able to just roll in, crush things easily, and have a really good chance of winning that base race. So that was a risk by Stephano, but it just seems like he's got horseshoes in both pockets, man. I mean,